Welcome back! Today, we're diving into a fiery June 2019 Senate Judiciary Committee exchange. Senator John Kennedy grilled witnesses on immigration policy and costs, cutting straight to the heart of the issue. Here's how it started. Senator Kennedy asked, "What is a safe third country agreement?" The witness explained, "Asylum seekers must apply in the first safe country they reach." Kennedy pushed, "If the US, Mexico, and Canada all agree, asylum seekers should stop where they land." That's a bold solution, and Kennedy wanted action.
Mr. Secretary, I think you're doing a good job. The best job that you can under the circumstances. I've listened to you in 2 hearings. I don't think you're a politician. I think you're doing the best you can to solve this problem, and I appreciate that. Can you tell me what a safe third party or safe third country agreement is?
Sure. There's a provision in our immigration law, and it's an international standard as well, where you're acknowledging that another government's asylum process is full and fair, and it should be recognized, so that an asylum seeker can't cross through another country and then choose to enter yours and claim asylum if they were already in a safe place.
Does it mean that if you're trying to make it to the United States, or strike that, if you're trying to make it to Mexico, let's say, but you step foot in the United States first, and you're seeking asylum status, then the United States has to prosecute your asylum status?
Senator Kennedy grabbed attention, asking, "Do we even know how much every asylum claim costs taxpayers?" The answer? No solid number. And we've spent around $1.5 billion in aid to Central America, but people are still fleeing in huge numbers. Kennedy wasn't done. He asked the million-dollar question, how much would it cost to make these countries stable enough that fewer people would want to leave? The witness couldn't give him a number, not even a ballpark. That's when you really see his frustration. We're pouring in money, but no one can guarantee results.
Right. That if you're already in a country where you're not going to be persecuted,
Right.
where you have access to asylum, you shouldn't be allowed to move to another country to claim it
If
there.
we made, or we inserted a safe third party or safe third country agreement into the USMCA, that would stop this problem cold, wouldn't it?
So I've long advocated for partnership between destination and transit countries
Would that
on
solve
migration.
this problem, Mr.
I think
Secretary?
a safe third country agreement with Mexico or other governments where we see transit would be a very effective way at addressing the
And if we put it in the USMCA, it would apply to Mexico, the United States, and Canada equally. Is that right?
So I'm not sure how the legislation would be crafted or whether it could or should be attached to the USMCA, but we do have a safe third country agreement with Canada. It's not fully effective because it doesn't apply between ports of entry, and having one with another partner
Well, let me
country
put it
like
this
Mexico
way.
would be
The
very
agreement
beneficial.
that I'm envisioning would say, as a part of the USMCA, if someone is seeking asylum status in one of the 3 countries, the country in which they land first, so long as it is a safe country, is the country responsible for processing the asylum declaration.
I think that's a sensible approach that could work in North America and has worked in the context of Europe and Turkey, Norway and Russia, and elsewhere around the world.
Do you happen to know, has your department quantified the cost of the American taxpayer per asylum claim?
I don't have that on hand, but we could do some analysis there.
Could you get that for me?
Okay.
Can you tell me how much the American people have spent in money to the Northern Triangle countries trying to fix them so people don't want to leave?
Well, under the Alliance for Prosperity, more recently, it's been in the range of $500 million a year. A lot of that money is still yet to be deployed, though.
For how long?
I think that's been going on for 3 years.
Okay, so we spent $1.5 billion. It obviously hasn't worked.
Well, that's why I think there's a temporary freeze on the aid to make sure that the programs are functioning.
Kennedy raised a tough reality. If so many illegal immigrants attend court, why are over 11 million still here illegally? That question hit hard. The answer? Many don't show up, and even those ordered to leave aren't deported effectively. Kennedy's point? The system is broken. Kennedy turned to the legal side, asking who pays for immigrants' legal counsel. The answer? American taxpayers. Kennedy insisted taxpayers deserve to know where their money goes, especially for immigration. That was Senator Kennedy in action, cutting through the noise and demanding straight answers on immigration policy and taxpayer costs. Whether you agree with him or not, he asks the tough questions others won't. Should the U.S. push harder for a safe third country agreement with Mexico and Canada, or focus more on aid to Central America?
How much money would the American taxpayer have to spend in Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, to make those countries so much better that 20% fewer people wouldn't want to leave?
Well, I think the chairman's point earlier that there's no near-term ability to make the countries so welcoming that it's not still better to try to migrate to the U.S. if we have legal loopholes. I think that's a really critical point.
So what would we spend the money on?
So I think economic development for our region is beneficial. I think security and governance is critical. We have gang activities that are transnational that do affect the safety of Americans that originate in these three countries, and
So
we
would
should be
spend
partnering
this
with
money
them.
on economic development in the Northern Triangle countries?
So I'll give you an example, Senator, of something that DHS controls in this area. We have the customs responsibility. These countries have very inefficient customs systems. There are long delays at their borders. There are unnecessary supply chain barriers that are causing economic costs. We can give them advice relatively cheaply, give them system support, and they can really increase their commerce and activity and create some of the jobs that are necessary to reduce their gap. That's the kind of thing that I think
What's
is
your
smart
best
and to
estimate
support them
of
with.
how much it will cost to reduce the flow by 20%?
In just with aid alone, because I don't advocate for an aid-only
I know.
approach.
I know, but but aid will get. I mean, I hear you're saying, or at least some of my colleagues have said that giving them aid will reduce the flow. It'll make people less likely to leave their country. And I'm saying, how much do you think it will take to reduce the flow by 20%?
Yeah, and I don't have a sound estimate for you on that. I think there are some case studies we could look at in El Salvador with Plan El Salvador Seguro. The 60% drop in the murder rate and the reduction in migration we saw last year might be an instructive place to look. But
I get it.
It's hard to estimate sitting here, Senator.
We don't know, do we? Okay. Let me ask you one last question. If 90% of the people who are in our country illegally are showing up for their hearings, how did we get 11 million people in our country illegally?
Yeah, that's why I recommended we go back and provide comprehensive data on the different categories. In our experience, majority of people aren't showing up for their hearings, and those that do get a final order get it in absentia for the most part and are not being repatriated effectively, which is why we have this draw and this pull factor.
All right. Last one. When counsel is provided for our neighbors who come here illegally, who pays for the counsel?
It would be the American taxpayer.
And do you know how much we're paying in legal fees?
Well, we're not doing that right now. We did get appropriations in 19 to try again with a family case management program to see if they could have successful results.
Can you get me a number quantified on the cost per asylum applicant?
If there were to be comprehensive counsel provided or historically?
No, not just lawyers, everything.
Oh.
How much is this costing the American people?
We can do that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.